first one, I was with like a bunch of individuals, maybe 30. We was maybe about 30 people. We were I don't know where we was, but it wasn't very nice. It was dark, and there was like this big. What can I say? There was I was on one side. We was all on one side, like a mountain. It was like mountains, like a mountainous place, and someone approached me. I don't know who it was, and he says, "Oh, we need to get that over there." And like it was over there, but obviously it was over some like gap, chasm, whatever, big space, and it was like more rocks and mountains on the other side, and there was like obviously a massive drop. Couldn't see the bottom because it was all like misty and dark. But there was like torch lights for whatever reason, but it was like lit up because there wasn't much light there. But what the light could be made out, it was like coming from like torch, not torch, like like I used to have them in the old castles and that, and they had like a torch on the walls, like flames and that, and it was like them like leading the way through like this trail or whatever we was going on these mountains. But I was with this group of individuals, and this guy approached me, and he says, "Oh, we've got to go over there. We've got to go over there. There's a bridge. If one of you can go over it." And no one would go over it because it just looked like it wasn't even a bridge. It was just like bits of wood put together. And it was no bridge, and it was going at all different angles. And there was like supports holding it up, coming from like the cloud and the smoke from like the chasm, but it was quite long. And so the guy come to me, so I had to go over it. No one else would. There was all like, no chance. I'm not going over that. We're going to fall. So like, I think I kind of volunteered. I said, well, I'll go. And I went over it, and I had to fetch like a light. That's the only way I can describe it. He says, you'll know what it is when you see it, but you've got to bring it back. So I went over, and made it over to the bridge. And then I found this light, and that's all I can describe it as. It was a light, and it was in my hand. It was just like a ball of light, gold ball of light. And then I had to make my way back to the other side of the bridge. But as I was coming back, obviously towards the side of the group of people I was with, the bridge was like just falling underneath me. But I made it back anyway. I got back to the other side, and I delivered the light to the person who asked me to go and fetch it. Obviously, I think it was a guide, and then that was it. I can't remember much more about that experience. But a few nights later, I was with my mum. Well, like she left like 15 years ago. She left physical. She passed on, and I've seen a lot of. Well, I've seen my dad countless times just recently, and then I seen my mum, and it was just like we was in a kitchen. It was just like old times. But I was delivering obviously, because I never had a chance to speak to her when I was there about because she left before I found the new presentation. So I was giving her all the good news about the new presentation and the new sound and everything about it. And that was well cool. That was awesome because I see my mum again. So that was brilliant. And I always remember what Duane says when I first got into when I first started listening. He says you can go and see your loved ones and your parents. You can go and see them, go and meet them. And we do, that's just facts. You can do that. You can do that because I've done it now with my dad and my mum. And 2 nights ago, I actually had a experience with my brother. He's still here. He's still on, still in the physical, but he's not full shilling. Can I put it? He's got severe brain damage. He's never going to be out again. He's never going to go home again. Basically, he's in like a rehab place now for like brain trauma and brain injuries. I went up to see him the other day, but the night before I seen him, I was actually with him on the real side, and I spoke to him a lot. About because I do everyone. I'm always giving it out, and I was telling him about the new sound and Duane and the new presentation and the guides and the all is. And when he was on the physical, he wasn't having it. He wasn't having none of it. It was just like he was set in his ways, and he just wasn't having it. So I went to see him on the real side. Obviously, I was speaking to his astral self, and it was so receptive of it, you know what I mean? He was really receptive of what I was giving him to tell him about the new sound, and I was like, "Oh, tell me more." And yeah, I wanted to share that because it was awesome. And another one I had. The way I can reference it, it's kind of like a movie. This was last week, one night last week. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie Skyline. It's a sci-fi movie. Where it was kind of like that. But I've had this experience before. But before, it really frightened me. It was terrible. It was kind of like a nightmare, and it started out exactly the same way. I was in like a major city somewhere. It was all big skyscrapers and that, and I was with like some family members, the wife, a couple of the kids, and then I heard it, and it was like a crack. It was like a crack. The only way I can describe it was like a crack in the atmosphere, and it was like a high-pitched ringing. It was only me could hear it, and I looked up, and I knew instinctively. I knew straight. It was like an arc. It was like an arc of light in the sky, but it was very small. But I could see it, and I knew exactly what it was. So I said to the wife and kids, I said, "Get ready." And they was like, "What?" I said, "Just get ready, get behind me. We need to go." And basically, the place was packed out with people, packed out with hundreds, thousands of people where we were. And how it worked was basically it was an invasion. And what invaded, the monster aliens, what invaded, they looked basically just like they do off the movie Skyline. I seen this arc of light in the sky, and I heard the high pitched ringing and the crack. I says like, come on, kids, let's get out of it. And instantly, people around me, there was attacking each other, killing themselves. Like there was like killing themselves, like kind of like the movie Bird Box. I seen it the other week on Netflix, where like they can't really see anything, but like if people see it, they like basically they kill themselves. But they weren't just killing themselves; it was like offing loads of people. So it was just like mass hysteria and mass murder. But as soon as I recognised the dream, that I was in a dream, I thought I've been here before. I know exactly. I was out of it. I was out of it, and woke myself up. I thought, yeah, I don't want to go back there. And yeah, that was it.
Thank you, Pearce. That was cool. Your first experience there, with that group of people, and you were leading them, wherever. Again, for risk takers only, and came upon this funny bridge, and it would be nice. It was like a beautiful, sturdy-looking golden bridge, but no, it's you got to take the risk to get what you get, and you did it. And it's interesting that as you were describing that, kind of like in Indiana Jones, I could see that the bridge would fall afterwards, simply because what you brought back is you showed them that you have to be a risk taker, and that there's only so much time to do that. And that's how it is. And yes, it's scary because it's the unknown. I know we all go through it, and little by little, we get to a certain point, but you prove to them that this is how it's done. Even if it's scary, you got to get to the point where you got to risk your life, because as you look back to what you have and your past lives, etc., when you see all that, you've got nothing, and there's nothing here. So all you have left is take the risk to see more. And so that's a very good experience. I would write that down and do a group with that in Facebook, Pearce, because that's what it takes. Yes, and you're showing that, you're proving it to them. And so those people that were afraid, well, they can redo it within themselves, and when they decide, the new opportunity will appear. But it's them deciding, and it's interesting in the experience, they decided no. So they blocked it out for themselves at that particular time. But you were there to prove that this is what it takes. Now they can redecide. They have that opportunity. Yes, thank you for sharing. It's great. Thank you.